Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to do my 2023-24 Premier League predictions. Now, this is going to be a bit of an interesting one this time now because I'm going to add a bit more things than I did last prediction. So last prediction I actually just did the straight table and didn't do anything else, but this time I'm going to do more things like the League Cup winners, the top goal scorer, I think it'll be the best player of the season, I think it'll be the worst player of the season, maybe that kind of thing, and maybe just do the European ones as well possibly, but now, just stick to the main table, and then we'll see how it goes along and see what I think the positions is going to be placed. Starting in 20th, I'm going to go with Sheffield United. Now, yes, Sheffield United did really well last season. They got through the promotion, didn't even go through the playoffs of promotion, but I just feel like, to me, Sheffield United don't have anything to offer. There's no real player in their team that just seems to give off anything that's like, yeah, they've got enough to stay up. To me, they would do well in some games. They might get good results now and again, but I just don't see them being a team out of relegation zone, really. I mean, it seems like they're the kind of team that just has mediocrity across the entirety of the team, and maybe not even players really want to fight. I mean, they could prove me wrong. They could prove a lot of me wrong. You know, if Sheffield United do manage to actually stay above relegation, it can be a very good season for them. But personally, I can't see it. Higginbottom, the manager, just doesn't seem to have enough of a kind of tactical prowess amongst other teams to stay up for me. And like I said, don't think they've got any players that will really pull them along, or push them along rather, get them above the relegation zone and stay safe. So unfortunately, Sheffield United, you say bottom for me. Now 19th. I want this team to do well. I want this team to actually stay above the relegation zone just because of who they are. Purely because the story they've had the last few years, and now they're finally in the Premier League. They've finally reached kind of big time of English football. But their squad, arguably, I don't even think it's even going to be Championship quality, let alone Premier League quality. And I'm not saying that the team's bad. You know, I'm not saying that all the players are like League 1, League 2 level. It's just that for the team that Luton have got, they have exceeded expectations massively compared to the teams in the Championship last season and managed to get through into the Premier League. And like I said, I hope this team does well. I hope this one is an prediction that is proving wrong for me, because, like I said, I want this team to actually do quite well because of who they are, and just compared to the budget that the team they've got compared to the teams in the league, I think that, well, they do the same fight they did last season in the Championship. They may have a good chance of staying up, but for me, I think purely because of the depth in the squad they have and the quality of players they've got compared to the team in the league, I think starting out they might be okay. Like, they don't give you against the season where they might actually be out of the relegation zone, but for the long run, because the entire season, I think towards maybe that February, March time, they would start to tail off a little bit. And I think at that point, they'll start losing quite a few games, maybe quite a few goals as well, and then they'll slowly just fall down and down, and they will eventually go in the relegation zone, where I don't think, unfortunately, they'll be getting back out of it again, and don't probably need to be relegated back to the Championship in 19th place. Now in 18th, this is sort of between three teams for me, and those three teams are Wolves, Everton, and Nottingham Forest. And the reason why these three teams test up so much for me is because I feel like those three teams just constantly hang around that area. Last season they did that, and okay, in the end I think it was Wolves and Nottingham Forest broke a little bit, maybe, if I remember correctly. But I feel like this season, I don't know, Nottingham Forest, last season saw a lot of players which ended up working well for them. This season, not really. Of course, now they've actually lost three players as well. Notably, Keylor Navas, who's I think gone back to PSG now, who was a top was signed for them on loan, and arguably, in my opinion, kept them in the league in some games. But this season, I think, with that all being said, there, Nottingham Forest are going to go down in 18th place, but only just. I don't think it'll be a case of, oh, they'll be down like 5-6 points. No, I think, like last season, it will be like a point or two between relegation and safety for some teams. Because I feel like Everton, Wolves, Nottingham Forest, even maybe Luton United at an extent, are all on the same level of just, I'm going to say this and might upset a few fans, just mediocrity.
Mediocre?
None of those teams really have anything, in my opinion, to really do much. Mostly because of the players they've now left the club, and the teams that they've actually got now in the swing themselves, and the managers they've got as well. For me, I don't see them staying up, unfortunately. But that being said, again, I feel like these 5 teams that I've mentioned could bounce a bit down throughout. I think it's 16th, 17th, 20th, all season long, basically. Maybe not so much Sheffield United, Luton might not do as much. But between 18 and 16, those 2 teams are going to be constantly just backing it out, trying to go game to game to get one above the other team. But ultimately, in 18, I'm glad to go to Nottingham Forest, purely because I just think compared to Wolves and Everton, they're just not quite got it. And of course, I don't think their team, honestly, I don't think their team is really as star-studded and really got as much quality as those 2 teams, but who knows, might prove me wrong. Last season I thought they might possibly go down as well. This season, they might be wrong again, they might stay up, who knows, but we'll see. Now in 17th, I'm gonna go for Wolves. The reason I'm going for Wolves is because, for me, they don't really have anything to go forward in attack. Their attacking run is not good. It just isn't good at all. And their defence is shaky at times as well. But I feel as though when the team is really at that risk of possibly going down, and I mean really at a risk in terms of they're on the same points or possibly a point above or below the team to be in the relegation zone, I feel like then they will pull themselves together and have just enough to stay above the relegation zone this season. Of course, they've lost Raul Jimenez, who hasn't been the same striker since his injury, unfortunately for him, but he's now gone to Fulham. And Adama Traore, which he wasn't really a big name player for them, but I felt like he offered something different. And yeah, that's kind of set up the ball, and then you bring on Adama Traore, and he made players panic purely because of his pace and strength. Like, a lot of players couldn't handle him, and allowed Wolves to change their style a little bit. But now that he's gone, I mean, who knows what happens now to Wolves? They might just absolutely crumble, but I don't think they'll crumble enough to be relegation zone, so I think Wolves in 17th will be a good spot for them to finish. Personally, I think that's where they will finish. Also, want to mention as well that they parted ways of Julian Lopetegui and now brought in Gary O'Neill, who kept Bournemouth last season. And that doesn't change my decision. I think Gary O'Neill might be able to get the squad up, but I don't think they'll have any points, if any points. It might be the same points difference, but by possibly goal difference. Now 16th place. I mentioned them before, so you probably know what's going here. I'm going Everton. For me, Everton has been that team that it's been so bad in the last few seasons, but not quite bad enough to go down. They have the good. They have.
As no, I promise, like, and even it's been a weird.
They have players that I think can do enough to keep them in the league, and of course got Sean Dyche, who knows how to keep teams in the Premier League. Apart from one time where he looked like he was going to get renovated yet again, but that's besides the point. I feel like this season, again, Everton will be able to do enough to stay in the Premier League. And they've been in the Premier League for so long that I feel like for the players and the team and fans themselves, it would be just, relegation would be just the be-all end-all, I feel, for the team. Like, the team's been in the league for so long, they want to stay in there and keep that run going, really. So I think, personally, Everton will stay up again. My 15th might be a surprising one, but I've gone for Bournemouth. The reason I've gone for Bournemouth because they brought in quite a few decent players. That's Justin Kluivert, and also they did get rid of Gary O'Neill, which at the time did raise a few eyebrows on why they got rid of him. But they brought in, I think it's Iraola, I think that's his name. I might completely butchered it actually.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did!
But he's been doing really well at teams he's managed in Spain. Especially last season, I think it went against Barcelona and Real Madrid, which is very, very good for him. And now comes the Premier League, a young manager trying to show off his craft and his trade. I think he will be able to turn this Bournemouth side into a very exciting Bournemouth side. Not enough in terms of quality to get good results, so get like crazy results and storm the table, but enough where they'll be comfortable this season. I don't think that at any point they'll really be a threat of being relegated. I feel like they will falter now and again maybe just be above the zone at some times, but I think at the end of all, they will eventually just start to break away again and they'll be fine. I think Bournemouth will be absolutely fine, and I'm going to pick them for them. Now in 14, this could go one or two ways, this team, purely because of one man that they have lost, at least for part of the season, and that is Brentford with Ivan Toney. Now, Thomas Frank, in my opinion, is a brilliant manager. I think he's done really well with the Brentford side for the last few years, and he's done very well to keep them up in the table, and maybe even go further than that, and achieve even better than people expected. But you have to question, without a star man and a striker, will they have enough to keep themselves in the league? And part of me thinks, yes, they will. But Ivan Toney is a big factor in why they are, or why they have done so well last few years. Now, of course, it's not after the entire season, they're not for like half of it, like I think January or something. Maybe less than that, maybe a bit more than that. But it's that time when they don't have him, when they may not do quite as well. When he comes back, of course, I think they'll pick up where they left off last season. But overall, I don't think they're quite bad enough to be a relegation spot. I think, for me, 14th is absolutely spot on for Brentford. Again, it's probably not a result they would like to have, but considering everything that's gone on in the past recent few weeks and months in the club, you have to think this is probably a reasonable spot for them to finish in. Now 13th. I'm going to go for Crystal Palace. Now, I was actually going to put them around 12th, 11th. The reason I'm going to Crystal Palace, and it's the obvious reason, Wilfried Zaha, after many years of being in Palace, has now finally left the club. And he's gone to Galatasaray, which I think is quite a weird transfer. I thought he'd go to a much kind of ambitious club, not Galatasaray ambitious, but I feel like you go to a club in the top 5 leagues again, maybe you go to like maybe a Dortmund maybe, or possibly a high league club in another league, or a Premier League or something, but he's gone down to Galatasaray and that's his choice. He gets champion football, so that's something for him. But now on to back into Palace. Now that he's gone, they don't really have much in attack that I can see. But what I like about Palace and what will keep them safe is the defence. I think defensively, Crystal Palace are absolutely solid and brilliant. What I forgot the guy's name now. Oh man, Roy Hodgson. Don't know why I couldn't remember his name initially. I think Hodgson has done really well since come back to this team, and I think he'll do enough again to keep this team fully comfortable this season. I think he'll build some really good results, and not so many good results. But even though it's just some teams where, yeah, they'll do okay. Nothing really spectacular, but yeah, they'll be a decent team to watch, I suppose. And I think for them, 13th is a reasonable place. Now in 12th. Now in 12th place. This is interesting. I'm gonna go for Fulham. Purely because I don't think they're going to do quite as well last season as now that Mitrovic, I don't think, has basically he's had his fit and said, don't want to play for you again, you don't want to go to leave the club, which I think is a bit pathetic, but that's football for you. But they have brought in 2 decent signings in Raul Jimenez and can't remember the guy's name now. They have brought in Raul Jimenez, which he could do well, but I don't think he'll do all that well really. because he's not been the same player since the injury he got a few years back now. But he could do something. But overall, I think the team just has a solid core. I just feel like the team overall is just well crafted and has enough to do really well this season. Again, they didn't do quite well last season, but I thought they will have enough to maybe challenge the top 10. But I think they'll fall just short of the top 10. I think by like 3 or 4 points. I'm not by a lot much really. So I think 12th place for them. I think it's a decent spot. I think they will take it. If I wasn't feeling bad, I would take it. Now in 11th place. I think this team has a point to prove. Mostly because of the last season in the league specifically. But also because they have lost their star man as well. And that is West Ham United. Now, of course, this season they got Europa League football, which may be a hindrance to their league form possibly. And of course, the main man being Declan Rice has now joined Arsenal. But again, I feel like this team will have to come good at some point. Like, where the years ago where they were reached in the top 10 with pretty much relative ease. You know, they had, in my opinion, a worse squad than what we've got now. And they were getting top 10 pretty easily. So I think they won't get top 10 this time, but I feel like 11th place for them is a decent spot. You know, David Moyes, in my opinion, is a decent manager. He's done well in his second stint at West Ham, and he's brought in the players which they seem to fight for the team. They seem to want to play for the team. I'm talking about Jared Bowen, Thomas Souček, I think Mikel Antonio when he was able to stay fit. You know, all these players just always want to do well for the team, and I think this season they will do better than last season. I thought they have to. They have to surely do better than last season. Even though again they got European football, I feel like they're capable of getting to 11th place. So not quite 10th, but I think 11th place for them. I think that'll be a good season, considering what they've got in the competitions. I think that's pretty decent. So West Ham, 11th for me. Okay, now into the top 10. This is where things get a little bit interesting now, in terms of where teams go. And in 10th place, I expect this team to do really well this season, and that team is Burnley. Now, you may think, Burnley in 10th, really? You know, you think of the old Burnley that was this kind of team that just did not stay above relegation zone under Sean Dyche. This is a new Burnley. This is an exciting Burnley with young talent and a decent manager and Vincent Kompany at the helm of the team. And I think for a team that gets 100 points plus, I think 100 points plus in the league last season, I think a team that is able to do that, they surely have to kick on and do well this season as well. And I think Vincent Kompany has enough to get this team into the top 10. I don't think by much, I think by maybe a single point or two. But I think he will do enough to get them in there. And honestly, this season, Burnley are a team I think is worth watching. They will put on some good performances and they will do really well in games. Might even beat some teams that will challenge Champions League places. So watch out for Burnley. That's what I'll say. Watch out for Burnley. Now in 9th place, I think this team, the fans might not be too fond of this position for them, but I've gone with Aston Villa. Now the reason I've gone with Aston Villa in 9th is not because the team's bad, so because I don't think it was last season. I just feel as though the teams that finish above below the last season will do a bit better than them, but also as well, it's the fact.
Jim, they're doing their work, they're doing and they force what they.
It's the fact they got European football this season, and okay, they brought in some good players like Pau Torres and Moussa Diab, I think it is, and there's someone else, but I can't think of his name at all. But besides that, they've also got a decent squad anyway. You know, like Emi Martinez and the team, and I think who's the player they brought in, or the player that's a striker? Ollie Watkins. Again, they're not doing well with names today.
Absolutely fucking not.
Ollie Watkins, he's been reborn under Unai Emery. And mention him as well. Unai Emery is a man who he takes charge of teams that haven't been successful in many 2 years before he came to the club. But he has changed Villa into a fierce, just absolute warhorse of a team that can just drive at the teams and really annoy the team and get good results against them. You saw last season there were some games that they were just absolutely brilliant against some teams, some games. I mean, absolutely fantastic. And this season, I think the only reason I'm putting them in ninth mostly, it is because of European football. Last season didn't have any European football. This time they have got European football, and I feel like that'll hinder them a little bit. But they'll still do well. I think ninth place is still a decent place for them to finish. And yeah, maybe might do better than that. We'll have to wait and see. Now in 8th place. I feel like this team could be even lower than this, and probably will be lower than this possibly, if Harry Kane leaves. And that is Spurs, obviously. As the video goes live, it is now actually confirmed that Tottenham have agreed a fee with Bayern Munich to sign Harry Kane, and that Harry Kane has agreed to join Bayern. So, unfortunately for Spurs, they have to do that in this season. And I feel like if Kane stays at Spurs, I don't think they even got enough to get Champions League anyway. I feel like they might possibly be in contention to qualify for Europe in the Europa Conference League or Europa League, but I don't think they'll do that. I think they'll finish in 8th place and just fail to amaze again this season. Now they've got a new manager in Ange Postecoglou. God, I cannot pronounce names.
You can't.
But I don't think they'll do much again this season either. Now this is more a transition period for Spurs, and I feel like they have to get this one right. You know, they've gone through some decent managers over the years in Mauricio Pochettino, Jose Mourinho, Antonio Conte. These managers who are absolutely brilliant coaches, and they've not really gotten anywhere. I feel like and this is a chance to maybe just change the shift in how the team performs. And I think they have to do something this season. They have to try and get out of this kind of feeling of just basically being Spurs. That's literally the only way I can describe his team. Spurs, the only reason they've done so the only way they've done so bad in the past few seasons is because it's Spurs. It's just Spurs being Spurs. But this is a chance for Spurs to change around and not be so Spurs. And I feel like eventually it might pay off. This season, it won't. Again, this season, they're going to finish in 8th. And I can't really see them doing all that much realistically. Now in 7th, I'm going with Brighton Hove Albion. Now, yes, they have got Europa League football, and yes, the team may not be as, on paper at least, quality as some of the teams around them. But Brighton under De Zerbi, they're a team that I feel like realistically, I feel like they're a team that can challenge for European spots for 2 or 3 years in a row now. I feel like they have the chance to do it, opportunity to do it. Like last season, they lost, arguably, their star man Leon Trossard's Chelsea halfway through the season. Did it matter? No. If anything, they got better when he left the team. And okay, yeah, I get that Graham Potter was in charge at the start of the season, then De Zerbi came in. Graham Potter went to Chelsea and didn't do all that well realistically, but this season I don't think they're going to finish in 6th like last season, but 7th. I think they're good enough to finish in 7th, and they'll just be as well last season, just consistent, brilliant, and all round just a very good team in the Premier League realistically. Now in 6th place, this team, as much as I feel like they could do well again, I don't think they do really that well as did last season. But that's not saying they're going to do terrible this season. It's just last season they did so brilliantly well in the league, and that's Newcastle United. Now I think Newcastle, obviously they got a lot of money, a lot of backing, and they brought in a few players like Sandro Tonali this season, who was a brilliant signing for them, and they've also got some brilliant players as well already in the team. But Champions League football for a team that's not Champions League football, European football at all for years, I feel like that will be a massive kind of dampen to their season form at times in the season. And I don't think they're going to quite finish Champions League this time around. And they will finish in a league spot in 6th place. I think the 6th place is decent, especially if they do actually quite well in the Champions League. and other cups in the league, but I don't think they will have quite enough to finish top 4 because the teams around them have strengthened since then, and I think we'll do better than they will. But 6th place, I think, is a decent spot for Newcastle. Eddie Howe is doing an unbelievable job there, doing some top players and changing players around and making them just absolutely fantastic and just world-class players, more or less. And I think 6th place is a good spot for them, considering what they will be in this season. Now in 5th, I think this one may upset the fans of this club because of how they did last season, and it's going to be Arsenal. Now I'll be honest, this is between, they could finish anywhere from I think 5th to 3rd. Like between 5th and 3rd, they could all just change around the entire season depending how they play. But I feel like the 2 teams above them, more because of the depth and the quality they have brought in, I think they'll just finish above them. But we'll go on to them in a moment. Let's talk about Arsenal now. And last season Arsenal did finish 2nd, and they did very well to keep Man City going right up until the very end of the season to see who'd win the Premier League title. Ultimately, they did fall at the very end a little bit, get some results that they weren't too pleased with, but all credit to Arsenal. They did brilliantly well. They've got a great young squad. There's some already top level players like Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard, Gabriel Jesus, who I think is injured to start off with, but he'll be back, I think, relatively soon. You know, it's Gabriel Martinelli as well, Zinchenko, Ramsdale, Saliba. All these players are just absolutely brilliant players. But I think Champions League again will make it harder for them this season. And of course, the teams above them will push them a little bit to possibly just miss out on a Champions League spot again. Now, like I said, they could finish Champions League again, and I think they have every chance to do it. But I don't think they've quite got enough as a team that will be finishing above them, and a team that finishing in 3rd place as well. So moving on to the team in 4th place to come with, it is going to be Chelsea. Now this Chelsea team, again, is in transition period like Spurs are. The thing with this team is they have such incredible depth and such brilliant players that can do well for the team. And now they're going under new management with Mauricio Pochettino. I think he can really change his squad into a team that just fails to meet expectations and finishes well below par, to a team that could go back into challenging for the title eventually. This season I don't think as well, but I think he is capable of getting a Champions League spot. Now of course they've got no European football this season, and they've only got the cups, and certain fixtures that might impede a little bit as well. But overall I think the depth and the quality of the team will get them in 4th place, and I think they should realistically get 4th place. Now yes, they have lost Kai Havertz, they have lost Jorginho, they have lost Mateo Kovacic, they've lost I think someone else as well, a few players as well, but I can't remember off the mind right now. Azpilicueta is one of them as well. I think they're going to be investing in the youth of this team a little bit more, and will really get back to that level that they were only a few years ago. So for me, 4th place is Chelsea. Now in 3rd place, I'm going for Manchester United. Now Man United are one of those teams where I always feel like under Ten Hag recently, they have the chance to be absolutely brilliant and be a team that can challenge for the title. But is it just me, or do I feel like at some points in the season, Manchester United just come up with just a silly result, like a draw that they should really win, or they play really badly and just lose the game? And I feel like they're going to do it again this season, and it will cost them. It will cost them big time in trying to be aspiring to get to the Premier League title. And for that reason, I think 3rd place is as high as they'll get. I don't think at any point they'll even get 2nd or 1st in the league. Maybe the first game week or 2, possibly. But I mean when it truly gets to be a race for the title, I think they're not going to get higher than 2nd place in my opinion, or 3rd place rather. Now I don't think they'll also fall out of the top 4 either. I reckon Manchester United are those teams that will be generally consistent. But not good enough to be challenging for the title, but not bad enough to be out of the top 4 at any point. They'll be around that 3rd, 4th place spot quite a bit this season. I don't think they'll really fall out of it at all. They might do a little bit, but I can't see this happening. Man United's squad is too good, and I think they have a chance to qualify for the Champions League again this season, and I think they will do. So for me, third place, Man United. Okay, now is the top two. And I'm going to go in second place. I'm going for Liverpool. Now, the reason I'm for Liverpool in second place is not because I don't think they have a chance to win the title, realistically. Like, I think they could well do again now they did a few years ago. But the reason I don't think they're going to quite finish top spot is because they're not Man City. You gotta bear in mind, when Liverpool challenged City for the title, like 2 or 3 years or so ago, they did so incredibly well and yet still lost out to the title Man City. That just shows how ridiculous Man City are as a team and how just stupid and just so dominant the team are the last few seasons. And I feel like Liverpool, they will do better this season. They will do much, much better. Let some players go, the boys and players as well. And I think, realistically, they will get back into the top 4 again, and they will possibly could challenge the title again. Now, Jurgen Klopp, I don't see him play like him. You all know how brilliant he is as a coach, and you know how he gets the best out of his players. I think Mo Salah will probably get another 20 goals per season, I imagine. I think that the front line of Darwin Núñez and the Jotas and Luis Diaz's, and I think the front line of possibly Luis Diaz or Diogo Jota, and Cody Gakpo as well, Darwin Núñez and Salah. I think the front three will probably be Darwin Núñez, Cody Gakpo, and Mo Salah will be a ridiculous front three before the season. So many teams find them so difficult to stop and won't be able to stop them. But I feel like they'll bag goals for this season, but again, I think what will let them down a little bit is the defence. Now Liverpool play a very high defensive line, and a lot of the season teams have figured that out and been able to get around the back of them and punish them for it. And for me, I feel like Andy Robertson is running out of steam, if not possibly has about run out of steam. Van Dijk is not quite the player he was. Alexander-Arnold isn't really that great defensively as he's going forward. And I feel like the defence just isn't quite got enough structure in there to really be the team to go away and possibly win the league. But they may challenge, and I think second place for them is the spot which I think is very good for Liverpool. And ultimately, they will not get past the team to finish in top spot with Man City. I mean, don't really just say anything about this team. They won the treble last season. They've won the Premier League, I think, 3 times in a row, going for 4th consecutive Premier League title. They've got just a ridiculous squad, a ridiculous coach. I mean, no one's beating Man City. No one is. Like, let's just say right now, Man City win the league. I don't need to say much more. Man City will win the league. I think, maybe not relative ease, but Man City just have this thing where they always seem to just click at some point. It might do like relatively well that for part of the season, but when it comes to really kind of end of the season, on like the last 3-4 months, they just switch and they just are an absolute machine. That's the way to control Man City. They are a machine that just is. They just can't be stopped. Their team just cannot seem to be stopped by anyone. And they will go on again. They'll win the title again. Maybe win the cup as well. And just be Man City. Just Man City. Just win everything again, which should really surprise at this point. Those are my 2023-24 predictions. These teams I think will finish in the respective spot. But now we're doing a little bit more as well in terms of the cups the teams will be in. Starting with the Carabao Cup or the League Cup, whatever it's called now. Now I think the team will win this cup. I personally think the team winning this cup will be Man City. Because for some reason Man City just have this thing where they win this cup just over and over again. I don't know why they win this cup or really care about this cup so much, but I think they will do it again because they seem to be just League Cup merchants at this rate, more or less. So now going to the FA Cup. I don't think Man City will win the FA Cup. No, shot. I don't think Liverpool will. I don't think Arsenal will. I don't think Man United will. I think the teams winning the FA Cup this coming season will be Chelsea. That might sound crazy to you, But I think Pochettino and Chelsea were so desperate to win a trophy this season that I reckon they'll put more effort into trying to win the FA Cup than anything else they've been this season. Now the FA Cup for them, to win that again would be just... It will be more or less a be-all end-all of their season. If they win that, it would be a successful season. If they finish top 4, it would be an okay season. If they don't get either of them, again, it's a bad season for Chelsea, and they want to try and kick off last season, especially after last season, in fact. I think FA Cup winners, I think it's going to be Chelsea. Now on to the Europa Conference League. I don't know who's the winner this year. I think, personally, this year, the winners of the Europa Conference League will be Roma. So I think Roma are going to win it again. Now, of course, they are in the Europa League this season, but for some reason I feel like they will fall short in the group stages and finish third, go down to the Conference League, and then they'll just kick on and win it again and get Europa League again next season. Because, in my opinion, Jose Mourinho is building quite a good squad at Roma. He really got in squad as it is that he inherited more or less. You know, football, heritage. But I think Roma will win it again this season. I think the only Premier League teams will do it, and I think it will repeat of what it was from 2-3 years ago now. Now on to the Europa League. I mean, in my opinion, there's only one team that can do it. It's Liverpool. They're far too good for Europa League. They're a Champions League level club. They have been for the past few years now, but last season they fell short a little bit, just because of the players they had worked for me what they were expected to do. But Europa League winners, it's going to be Liverpool. They'll qualify for the Champions League next season. Even if they don't win Europa League, they'll finish top 4 in my opinion. But I think they'll do both. So, Europa League winners, it's going to be Liverpool. Now, Champions League. I want to say Man City, but I don't think they'll do it again. I feel like they won't do it again. And the team that I think will do it, this might be a bit surprising, is Bayern Munich. And the reason I think Bayern Munich is that if they don't sign Harry Kane, maybe not so, but I'm banking it on the fact that they will sign Harry Kane. If he joins Bayern Munich, they've got everything they need. They've got a solid defence, they've got a solid midfield, and they've now gone from a decent attack to a brilliant, possibly one of the best attacks in the world football if they do manage to sign Harry Kane. And I feel like that'll be enough to get them another Champions League trophy. Of course, if they don't, I feel like it could be anyone really. I don't know who could win it. But I'm banking on the fact that they've also Harry Kane, and if they do, I think Bayern will win the Champions League for the 2023-24 season. Now to finish off here, I'm going to go with the best performing player, or like top goal scorer, and possibly the biggest flop of the season. Now, top goal scorer, I wonder who this could be. It's going to be Erling Haaland, isn't it? The guy is just a freak of a footballer. No one can be that good and have that. There's so many qualities to the game. Like, how can there be a man who is so tall, so strong, and so fast, and have an incredibly clinical shot on him? It just doesn't seem to compute in mind. The guy's not a human being. He's not. He's a freaking robot. He is actually a robot. There's no way he's actually. There's no way he's the same form as just everyone else in the league. He has to be. It's something has to be put in his food, or he just can't be actual flesh and bone human. There's just no way he can be. But all that aside, he will probably be top goal scorer this season again. It'll be 30+ goals again for Erling Haaland. Yeah, he'll win it easily. Now I'll find out this video, which I imagine is ridiculously long. But to finish off the video, going to the biggest flop of the season. Now, I think this may be quite a controversial one. Now, of course, when I make this video, not all signs have been made by certain Premier League teams. But I feel like the biggest flop this season, this might surprise you, I think it's going to be Declan Rice. Not because he's a bad player by any stretch. I just feel like, in the West Ham team, he outshone everyone in the team. I mean, he was the big man, he was a star man in that West Ham team that just, he took over the intensity and just drove the team forward every chance he could get. But this Arsenal team, I don't think he'll be quite the main man, and I feel like he'll he'll be decent. Like he'll do good for Arsenal, but I don't think he'll be quite as monumental to the team as it would have been to West Ham. And I think for £105 million, I think that's a bit too much for money for him personally. And I feel like I don't think he'll be the best DM in the league. I feel like they're like Casemiro or Rodri, or maybe Moses Caicedo possibly if he kicks on. So I don't think that Tomas will be the best DM in the league, let alone one of the best midfielders in the league as well. So biggest flop for me, might be controversial, but I think it's nice. Anyway, that's a wrap of this video. Tell me what you think about my predictions. Do you think I'm absolutely crazy? Tell me if you think I might be on point here. Also, let me know in the comments where you think these teams will finish personally, and I'll be sure to look through them and see what you think. I'll be intrigued to see what you do think in terms of where the teams will finish the season. But anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care for now.